Hi, my name is Margarita Gokun-Silver, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about one topic we're going to focus on during our Expat Club 10 weeks of program, 10 weeks of wisdom program. And that topic is going to be identity. Now, identity as a concern comes up very often, and especially expats that accompany their partners to overseas jobs, and expats that lose their careers in this process, or lose their jobs, or lose their financial independence, or lose their sense of belonging, sense of connection to home when they follow their partners overseas. Those expats talk very often about how they miss their sense of identity, how they miss their sense of purpose, how they miss the security of knowing where they fit, and how sometimes they feel left out even though they are right there. Many find it difficult to relate to a new place and see themselves as part of that new place. And many find themselves going native and worrying what that does to their identity. So there are a lot of questions and worries that get generated around this loosely defined topic of identity and how that drastic change as a move overseas impacts your identity and your ability to conserve it while also feeling a sense of belonging in a new place. So in this little short video, I want to tell you about how we're going to approach that topic of identity in our Expat Club 10 Weeks of Wisdom program. First, let's talk about what identity may mean to each one of us. Those of us who grow up in the environments where going up the corporate ladder and making it really big at work, identity may means that a huge success in your career and your work. Others whose surroundings may emphasize financial independence as they grow up may grow to believe that being financially independent and spending only the money you make means a lot for your identity. For others, identity is closely connected with how much money they make, and yet for others, identity is deeply rooted in family relationships and connections with friends, and how many of those connections you have. So for each of us, the gist and the focal point of what we consider our identity comes often from the outside, from what we've learned as we grew up, from what we've seen around us, from what we internalized, and it may not match who we really are. Remember in the movie Fight Club, one of the characters, I think he was played by Brad Pitt, says, "You're not your job, you're not how much money you have in the bank, you're not the car you drive, you're not the contents of your wallet." But the trouble is that oftentimes we actually think that that's who we are, that these outside influences of our family, our friends, our surroundings, our societies, and our worlds are actually our truth and our identity. And then, because we mistakenly identify ourselves with that one thing, when that one thing is gone in the overseas move, we find ourselves lost. That one familiar thing, that one thing that everyone thinks and says is important is gone. And now what? We think, who are we now? What's our sense of purpose? Where do we fit? And that's when the doubt circus begins. Doubts about ourselves, doubts about what we're good at, what we're good for, doubts about our abilities. Our internal critic takes over and has a field day, exploring the doubts, bringing up the thoughts of not being good enough, making us question our self-worth, and creating a lot of guilt around it. And as a result, we often stop liking ourselves and set out to be very self-critical. And so this continuing self-criticism and self-nagging create a feeling of, I'm losing myself. I'm no longer who I was before. I don't remember myself being that awful. My identity is slipping away, and so on and so forth. So the self-critical mode takes over, and it is no wonder that we feel that we don't know who we are anymore and where we fit. The truth is, however, our sense of purpose and our identity has nothing to do with what the outside world thinks is important. Of course, some of those things may be important to us, but it doesn't mean that's who we are, because we're a lot more than that. But oftentimes we don't know it because the outside world is so loud in expressing its opinion that we cannot hear ourselves. To paraphrase Jon Stewart at the rally to restore sanity, which I loved, if everything around us is amplified, we really can hear nothing. And so that's where we pause and we step back and we tune our ears to what's inside. And we begin the quest of actually learning our identity, learning who we are in ways we never imagined or known before. It's really about discovering who you are at the very core, at the very center of your being, accepting who you are and building from there. You'll be amazed at what you're going to find out through the exercises that we're going to have, and how that discovery is going to settle all the worries you've ever had about losing your identity, about belonging, about being who you are, no matter where you are. It's really about knowing yourself and feeling good about who you are. No matter where you live, no matter what you do, no matter what work you have and what work you haven't, no matter how you look, no matter what language you speak, no matter anything. And that's what we're going to focus on in this part of our program in the Expat Club, 10 Weeks of Wisdom. Now this video, I talked about only one lesson. And in our Expat Club 10 Weeks of Wisdom program, we will cover 10 lessons, each focusing on one issue of an expatriate life. And below in this page where you find this video, you'll find information on what other issues we'll focus on. And you'll find the link to sign up. We're starting in mid-January, and along with weekly lesson, you'll get a live coaching session once a month during a teleconference with your expat coach. With this particular group, it's going to be me. With further groups later on, it's going to be other coaches. The cost of the entire program is $25, and we made this available because we know there is a need for this kind of information, for this kind of skills, and for these kind of tools out there. So we depend on people signing up for this program. And also we depend because by participating, you're not only learning from the coach leading the program, but you're also learning from one another. There'll be a lot of interaction within the group between the participants, and we'd love to create a really great group. So please scroll down and sign up for this program, and we hope to see you there in mid-January. Thank you.